We are live.
The chair notes the time is 6:01. I call this meeting of the Amherst Zoning Board of Appeals to order. My name is Steve Judge. As ZBA chair, I want to welcome everyone to this meeting. We'll begin with the roll call of the full ZBA members. Steve Judge is present. Mr. Craig Meadows.
Present.
Mr. Everald Henry.
Present.
Mr. Philip White.
Present.
Mr. David Sloviter.
Present.
A quorum is present. I also want to note that Ms. Hilda Greenbaum, an alternate member, is also present and will be serving on a panel that we deal with tonight. And that Mr. Jacinta Williams, the planner for the town, is also on the call. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to observe the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a quasi-judicial body that operates under the authority of Chapter 40A of the General Laws of the Commonwealth for the purpose of promoting the health, safety, convenience, and general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Amherst. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A and Article 10, Special Permit Granting Authority of the Amherst Zoning Bylaw, this public meeting has been duly advertised and notice thereof has been posted and mailed to parties at interest. All hearings and meetings are open to the public and are recorded by town staff, and they may be viewed via the Town of Amherst YouTube channel and ZBA webpage. The procedure is as follows. The petitioner presents the application to the board during the hearing, after which the board will ask questions for clarification or additional information. After the board has completed its questions, the board will seek public input. The public speaks with the permission of the chair. If a member of the public wishes to speak, they should so indicate by using the raised hand function on their screen or by pressing *9 on their phone. The chair, with the assistance of the staff, will call upon people wishing to speak. When you are recognized, provide your name and address to the board for the record. All questions and comments must be addressed to the board. The board will normally hold public hearings where information about the project and input from the public is gathered, followed by public meetings for each. The public meeting portion is when the board deliberates and is generally not an opportunity for public comment. If the board feels it has enough information and time, it will decide upon the applications tonight. Each petition heard by the board is distinct and evaluated on its own merits, and the board is not ruled by precedent. Statutorily, for a special permit, the board has 90 days from the close of the hearing to file the decision. For a variance, the board has 100 days from the date of filing for the variance to file its decisions. No decision is final until the written decision is signed by the sitting board members and is filed in the town clerk's office. Once the decision is filed with the town clerk, there is a 20-day appeal period for an aggrieved party to contest the decision with the relevant judicial body in Superior Court. After the appeal period, the permit must be recorded at the Registry of Deeds to take effect. Tonight's agenda: consideration of meeting minutes from March 13th, 2025, a public hearing on ZBA FY 2025-18, 72 Curtis Place, request to reconstruct a two-family dwelling, non-owner occupied duplex that was destroyed by fire for property located at 72 Curtis Place, map 18D, parcel 5, RN, Neighborhood Residence Zoning District. This is continued from March 27th, 2025, and from May 22nd, 2025. After that, general public comment period on matters not before the board tonight, other business not anticipated within 48 hours, and adjournment. Are there any disclosures from any members of the panel for tonight? If not, the first order of business is consideration of the minutes from the March 13th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review those minutes? I have no changes. I think they're very full and complete minutes. Does anybody else have any changes or suggestions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the March 13th meeting.
So moved.
Is there Motion and second. Hilda, you're not second. Hilda, you're not on this panel yet. You're on the next panel.
I
So
was, I was on Curtis Place, though. That's
you're
why.
on, we're not on Curtis Place yet. You will be.
No, the minutes were about Curtis Place. That's why I voted.
Well, but we,
Whatever it was about, I was on that panel. That's why I voted. I don't.
okay, but we
Don't
need,
mind me. It's been
it's
a long-
okay.
It's a
We've
long.
got, I know we've got a second. I just need a motion from a full
So
member.
moved.
All right, moved and seconded. Is there any
Frank to the
discussion?
rescue.
Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion to approve.
Should I vote or not vote? Because I,
No, no, not on this, Ms. Greenbaum, not on this. On the next order.
even
next
though
order of
I was
business,
on
you're up.
that meeting and you weren't, you vote, but I can't.
That's, we're dealing with the, dealing with minutes from the full members first. All right, so the vote occurs on the motion to approve the minutes from the March 13th meeting. Chair votes aye. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Henry,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
Mr. Sloviter.
Aye.
The vote is 5-0. The motion passes and the minutes are approved. The next order of business is ZBA FY 2025-18. There is a panel for that, which consists of Mr. Henry as chairman, Mr. Meadows, Mr. White, Mr. Sloviter, and Ms. Greenbaum. You served on this panel, and Mr. Henry, you were chair, so I give you the gavel for this this consideration of this application.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. ZBA FY 2025-18, 72 Curtis Place, request to reconstruct a two-family dwelling, non-owner occupied duplex that was destroyed by fire for property located at 72 Curtis Place, map 18D, parcel 5, RN, neighborhood residence, zoning district, continued from March 27th. If I understood, the applicant has filed a notice to withdraw without prejudice. Is applicant present?
Yes, sir. Larry couldn't make it tonight, but I'm Mike Bowen. I was the engineer on the project, so I'll be representing him tonight.
And can you just identify yourself and address for the record, please?
My address is 38 Pinehurst Street, Westfield, Massachusetts.
And I reviewed the letter that was submitted to town staff, and I understand the rationale behind it, and it makes sense to me. I just want to see if the board members have any response or any objection to the applicant withdrawing their petition without prejudice at this time.
I'd like to suggest something, though.
Go ahead, Mr. Meadows.
If and when the applicant comes back, that it comes back as a new construction, a new building. It certainly doesn't have the appearance of a reconstruction. That's a brand new building that's going up, and it should come back as such.
So, and that makes sense to me as well, because I believe that in one of our last meetings, we tried to make clarification to your point that you're making, Mr. Meadows, that it is a new construction, given that what is there will be taken down. Isn't that correct? I'm sorry, Larry, your last name is blocked.
So I'm Mike Bowen. Sorry, I know the name is Larry H. in there, but yeah, I'm just using his link. Sorry, what was the question?
The existing structure, to our knowledge, will be completely taken down and a new structure go up in its entirety.
Yeah, the existing building there will be demolished. Yeah.
So Mr. Meadows is correct that we should classify it properly. So his suggestion was that should we allow this motion to withdraw, when you do come back, it should be labeled as a new construction rather than a reconstruction.
If the project is to reconstruct the building, you would have to demo it. You'd have to demo the house anyway.
No, we understand that part, but if I read the letter correctly, it suggests that what's in the letter, the entire building, is going to go away, and quite frankly, the layout that's there may also change, and that's part of the reason for withdrawing this petition. Isn't that correct?
Correct, yeah.
So I think, and the other board members can chime in, I think it makes sense to Mr. Meadows' point if it is deemed as a new construction.
I guess I'm not really sure exactly what the difference would be in terms of like the, the regulations between a reconstruction and new construction.
I think you
So-
could probably get guidance from the planning department.
Mhm.
There's significantly more requirements for the new construction.
Okay.
And I think for the purpose of this ZBA, what would be necessary for us is because it is deemed a non-owner occupied. But for construction itself, that is, the building department, planning department that would dictate what happens and how that's done properly.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Yep.
Mr. Sloviter?
From what I recall from the last time this was discussed, no part of the existing structure is going to be incorporated into the new building, I believe. In
That
which
is-
case, I'm clarifying because what Mr. Meadows said makes perfect sense. If 0% of the existing structure is going to be included in the new building, that doesn't strike me as a rebuilding or a renovation or anything. I was actually a little surprised initially when I went there that they were using the term destroyed by fire because the building doesn't even really look destroyed. So, but there, if I do remember correctly, and I think I do, the proposed building is going to be situated completely differently on the lot and use none of the existing building. So I think it's important that Mr. Meadows' suggestion be followed, because I can't imagine that this committee is going to view any aspect of this proposal as a renovation or a reconstruction. Basically, they're flattening it and starting over with a clean lot. So I think I'm glad Mr. Meadows brought this up, because I think this is an important point in order to streamline the proposal and not waste the time of the committee when it comes back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome, Mr. Sloviter. And Mr. Brown, I know it seems somewhat confusing. You're trying to understand what the difference is, but it's a matter of getting the record accurate. And what Mrs. Sloviter, Mr. Meadows saying is true, that you're not altering what is there. What is there is going away, and it will be a completely new construction. So when you do come back before the ZBA, we're asking that it be labeled as such.
Yeah. So I understand that. The only thing that I guess that I would contest with that is the reason that we're withdrawing is we are kind of going through like new design and new layout. And so a reconstruction could be in the works for the future. Like we're not, that's kind of the reason why we're withdrawing, is that we want to, redesign the layout. So if we come back and the house is in the same spot, would that still have to be considered new construction?
I would suggest yes, because again, nothing from the existing structure will be utilized. Isn't that correct?
That's kind of what we're working through right now in the design process.
Okay, so I think without muddying the weeds, you will have more than sufficient time to work with town staff, and town staff is very capable as to advise you as an application when it gets to that point. So rather than telling you what to do now, knowing that your plans may change, I would just suggest that you keep in mind as you move through this process, the feedback from the board. And then when you're ready to resubmit your application, you communicate in detail with town staff to say, this is what we're doing. And I'm sure Ms. Williams would be more than happy to advise or remind you rather of what was said in this meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned about being forced to file as a new construction, I guess, considering that we don't have a definitive layout as of right now. The layout
So-
that we have is being withdrawn.
So that is my point. It's right now, we're not asking anything off you. We're telling you our opinion as to what we think it ought to be. But when you finalize your plans and you've worked with the planner and the proper departments, when you are ready to submit, just make sure you get guidance from them as to, how this is being classified. And again, work with Ms. Williams as to what happened on your last ZBA meeting to say, this was a recommendation. I want to make sure that I'm following the recommendation. Right now,
Okay.
there's no onus on you to do anything. Just be mindful of what is being said here today.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarification on that because I was just a little concerned about that, but thank you.
Ms. Greenbaum?
I just wanted to remind him also to take very seriously the comments that came from the planning board, because they pretty much, or we pretty much echoed the same comments that they had made, and there were serious issues that they brought up that you need to keep in mind.
Understood. Yep.
So at this stage, do we take a vote or do we go to public comments if there's any concerns as to the petition to withdraw without prejudice?
Well, you can do public comment, but there isn't anyone here to comment on the petition.
Then I suggest we skip public comment. So is there a motion to allow the petitioner's request to withdraw without prejudice on 72 Curtis Place petition? Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
The motion has been moved in second. The vote occurs. Mrs. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
Ms. Greenbaum,
aye.
Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The petition to allow 72 Curtis Place to withdraw without prejudice has been allowed.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and good luck, Mr. Brown.
Have a good night.
You too. And with that, Mr. Judge, I turn it over back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. The next order of business is public comment on any matter not before the board tonight. Ms. Williams,
I'm gonna ask a public comment.
you're gonna have all right, Ms. Greenbaum, you can have a public comment.
Would you please clarify for me why the main members of the board get to vote on minutes at a meeting they weren't at, but the person who was there can't vote? The person who knows what, please explain to me the rule.
The rule is we have minutes don't have to be voted on. The minutes of a meeting do not have to be voted on by the panel that served on that meeting, because it may be impossible to get that panel together again, or it may take a long time. So minutes are voted on by the ZBA. The first priority is to have the full members of the ZBA on a panel. If that panel is not complete, if we don't have 5 members, we ask an alternate to sit. And in this case, we had 5 full members who were ready to vote on the minutes. That's the normal order of business. Minutes do not have to be voted on by the panel that participated in the meeting. Minutes have to be approved by the ZBA, and the default for the ZBA is to have full members, if we have sufficient number, full members to vote on that.
Even if they weren't there, none of them were there.
it's,
They
well,
still,
not,
they don't know what went on. This mind boggles because I never heard it before.
it's, but we don't have to, it doesn't have to be the panel there. It's the default is the regular members, full members of the ZBA vote on most matters. If we have a vacancy, alternates vote. So that's the reason behind it.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't make sense, but that's okay. If that's
All
the way
right.
it is.
Okay, Miss Williams.
I just want to let Hilda know next time that we meet on June 26th or June 22nd, rather, you will have the opportunity to vote on lots of minutes because I will be sending lots of minutes through for you guys to vote on before the fiscal year closes. So if you're feeling like you got left out, I will be sure to keep you in mind for the 22nd, and you will have lots of minutes to vote on then.
Yeah,
Okay?
but I wasn't at any.
26.
So I-
26, thank you, I was correct.
26, yes. But then, Ms. Greenbaum, you'll get to vote on all sorts of minutes that you didn't participate in. So it'll even be more thrilling. You get to vote, but you didn't have to be there.
But I mean, how can you attest to their accuracy if you have to go to court? That's the issue.
Accuracy.
I mean, we had
We have,
in the old
but
days, we had a lot of things that ended, not a lot of things, but there were cases that ended up in court, and if they look at those minutes and they say, Mrs. Greenbaum, were you there? And I would have to say no. Then why did?
but they're all recorded. The actual meeting is recorded. We can actually, there can be absolute certainty about what happened at the meeting. The minutes are a reflection of that. If the minutes are incorrect, the video would show what happened at the meeting. So,
Okay, we didn't have that advantage 20 years ago, literally.
well, no, you probably didn't. But we have a fail-safe system now to accurately reflect what happened at the meeting, both minutes and video.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Okay. All right. So this is when the next order of it, we're in public comment. If you wish to speak, please so indicate by using the raised hand function on the Zoom application or by pressing *9 on your phone. The chair, with the assistance of the staff, will recognize people who wish to speak. When recognized, please state your name and address for the record. All comments should be addressed to the board. Please limit your comments to about 3 minutes. The chair will start a timer to assist you in keeping that time limit. Is there anybody who wishes to speak? Anybody in the public, Jacinta?
No, I don't see anyone who's got their hand raised, although I do see a VIP person in the attendees room, but that's about it.
Okay, if there's no public comment, the next order of business is any matter not anticipated during the last 48 hours. I have something there. When the ZBA meets on July 10th, and I won't be there next week. When the ZBA meets on July 10th, I won't be chair. And so the vice chair of this ZBA, Mr. Meadows, will act as chair, because that's the role of the vice chair, is to act when the chair isn't available. And be his responsibility to convene the meeting, to chair the meeting, and act as chair until a new slate of officers is elected by the regular members of the board. It could be at that meeting or whenever the board decides to elect new officers. So that's when I'm off. That's the next thing you guys have to do. And I also have one other thing that I wanted to say. It's been a great pleasure to be on the board of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the last 7 years, 8 years, 6 years as chair. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed working with with everybody, with the staff, the hardworking staff that we've had, and really the diligence of the members of the ZBA. You know, one of the things I'm most proud of is I think that we have probably approved, during the 6 years when I was chairman, probably approved 500 to 600 units of housing over the last 6 years. With those, that's just the big projects. And we didn't build those, we didn't finance them, but our job was to make sure that the proposals that were before us complied with the zoning bylaw and gave people from the community a chance to express their views, and that we could find a path that not only allowed that proposal to be built, but met the needs of the community. And that's really what our job is. And I think everybody on this board did a really good job of doing that. Because there were several proposals, some of them comprehensive permits that could have been very controversial. But we worked it through with the community, worked it through the neighborhood. And I think each of those projects have been really successful. And there's more that there's some that are still being built, and I view them as being really successful. So I think it's really been a, not only am I proud of that work, but it's really been a pleasure to work with you folks. I've enjoyed it. And I think you guys have a great, as members, you have a great possibility for continuing this in the future. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And good luck to you guys over the next couple of years as you complete your terms on the ZBA. I think you're going to do a great job. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Judge.
Thank you, Steve. And you have definitely been the guiding light. When I first got on this board, there were some controversial people that were on the board, and you very smoothly helped them to transition off the board so that we haven't really had any controversy since then. And it's primarily because of your leadership. And it's very much appreciated. I hope your next gig goes as smoothly as you've made this one.
I hope so too. It doesn't promise to be quite as smooth so far.
Well, you're certainly welcome back at any time.
That's very nice of you to say, Craig. It really is that's a function of the good members that we have on this board. It really is. Good members.
Mr. Chair, I would actually like to thank you for your leadership, having served on many boards over the years. I'll just go ahead and say this. Sorry if it hurts anybody's feelings on any other boards I've ever served on, but I think you have been, in my time, the most effective chair on any board I've ever served on, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. It's very kind. All right. There's no other business, I guess. Ms. Williams, can you talk about what the schedule is?
Sure. We're just going to be doing meeting minutes at the next meeting, which is June 26th. I can show you the schedule. 1 second.
My picture disappeared and I don't know why. I pushed a button.
All right, can everyone see this desktop? Can you all see that? Yes, yes, you can.
Yeah, we got it.
So it's just the last meeting of this fiscal year is June 26th. There are no petitions, but as stated earlier, there will be quite a few meeting minutes to have fun voting on. And that will be the bulk of the meeting. And then we will wrap for fiscal year 2025. And I will see everyone in July. And that will be an administrative meeting for July 10th. July 24th, I don't have it on here right now just because we don't have a finalized application, but just a heads up that 65 High Street is looking to make their comeback on July 24th. So that should be interesting. And I think there might be a few other applications that might join them, but nothing is finalized yet. So that's really where we are at the moment.
Do you know if we have confirmed board members for the new fiscal year?
No, I haven't heard anything yet, but I will be asking. If not, yeah, I'll ask next week and just double check to see where we are in that process.
Well, as I said, the last I heard is that they didn't have people. They need enough people so they can have somebody to turn down, I guess.
Wait, Mr. Henry, were you asking about the constitution of the next board?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, well, I can tell you because my term is expiring and I have been chasing them to find out when the interview, the beauty contest is basically when the interview thing happens. Apparently, the decision has to be made by the 30th of June. So in order, I suppose, not to leave it to the last minute, they're doing it on the 30th of June, which is unbelievable. They're having the interviews on the 26th of June. So the answer to your question really is at this point, they don't know. They have not made any decisions. The committee that recommends the nominees to town council is interviewing everyone on the afternoon of June 26th.
I have not heard that yet because they do know that we have a meeting at 6 o'clock.
Right, they do know that, yes.
Yeah, I made that very well aware to them.
So the answer is they haven't decided yet, so they don't know if who they're
I
approving.
even think they've met to do the questions because they just did the planning board, and I don't know if they've even appointed the planning board people yet. It has to go to CRC also.
Yeah, the CRC takes the first cut. They make the recommendation. It goes to the
Right.
town council. The town council approves.
Right,
So it's conceivable CRC votes on the 30th and recommends town council could take it up before the July meeting. It's
right.
conceivable.
Yeah, CRC will vote on, allegedly is going to vote on the 26th and send it to town council for the meeting on June 30.
Mr.
And-
Slow, oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted Mr. Henry to get the most comprehensive non-answer that he could get for tonight.
What time are they doing the interviews, Mr. Sloboda? Did they say
I believe 3 o'clock,
3 to 6?
3 to 5, 3 to 4:30, something like that.
Well,
I don't
I
know,
get-
and I don't know. I don't know anything more. I don't know how many applicants. I don't know anything. The only reason that I know anything is that my term is expiring, and I have said that I am interested in continuing with another term as a full member. And they originally said that I would hear from them in April and then May, and I want to be available, but I can't just necessarily be available at the last minute when they make up their minds that they're doing something. So I have been in touch with the CRC to find out, to make sure that I hold a date open, and they told me to hold open the date of the 26th.
I was asking because I just wanted to maybe consider or throw it out there that perhaps we start at 6:30 on the 26th so that you're not feeling
You might want to check with the co-chairs of the CRC. That's Jennifer Taub and Pam Rooney,
okay.
to see what time they have it scheduled for and how long they expect it to go. That's the only, I don't know anything more than that.
Okay.
And
but you know more than I know because they didn't know that the other day when I asked.
Okay.
A
And-
difficulty with that could be that if we're voting, the only thing we've got on the agenda on the 24th, is that correct? Is the decision on the officers, and if we don't know who's on the board.
No, that's on the 10th, you mean, on July
And-
10.
yes, and that was my point, Mr. Meadows. If
Okay.
there are no new members on July 10th, only Mr. White, yourself, and me are the ZBA.
Which means you're not gonna go very far. You don't have a quorum.
Yeah,
But you've got one more person than the historical commission because they're down to 2. And there's
so
no
Yeah,
sign
but
of anybody applying for that.
That's going to be your business, but I suspect you may want to wait. If you don't have members, you may want to wait till you have a full complement of members to elect your officers. But
Right,
That's up
that
to-
makes sense.
that's up to the next panel.
I also was gonna say too, if we don't have the members, can we even have a meeting on July 10th?
Well,
You could have a
Yes.
meeting. You could have a meeting on July 10th. You could have a meeting of 3 as a quorum, and you can approve minutes and do administrative things, but you can't approve a special permit. You can't take any action, any special permit it requires 4, right? And so that you'd be limited to what you could do. You can have a meeting, you can have an administrative meeting, and you can take care of stuff that only requires a majority vote. You have a quorum at 3, but there's some things you can't do.
I think it's likely that they will stick to the interviews on the 26th and the vote on the 30th, and I think they will probably pull this off at the last possible minute, and that we will be fully constituted on the 10th. I think that's likely. It's just that it's a little nerve-wracking that we can't plan comfortably, but.
So it's kind of like any legislative body in the United States. They come up to the deadline and they all of a sudden can figure out how to get it done just before it's too late.
Hey, you forgot about taco.
What, Ms. Greenbaum?
Chicken out, taco, chicken out, always chicken out. It wasn't,
All right.
wasn't worth it. It wasn't really relevant, but that's my latest taco.
Oh, taco.
You can always chicken out.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Any other comments on members on matters not before or that not anticipated in the last 48 hours? Any other new business, questions, administrative issues that members wish to bring up? All right. Well, this is one of the fastest ZBA meetings we've had. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I almost always ask for a motion to adjourn, but I'm going to take the chairman's prerogative tonight and move to adjourn. Is there a second?
There is a second.
And as I've said before, this motion is not debatable. The vote occurs on the motion to adjourn. The chair votes aye. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Henry,
Aye.
Mr. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White.
Aye.
The vote is 5-0. The motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all. It's been great. I've enjoyed it very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good luck to you
Good
too.
night and good luck.
Good night, everyone.